And it has, let's see, do I have the map on here? Yeah, okay, so here again, Northeast Ohio is the area. I mean, people come here to see this species. It has an unfortunate habit of landing on people. When you're a threatened species, you should not do that. So I went to, I heard there was some at Mission National Preserve, so I went there and photographed them. And I found one along the path. And I waited for it to either hover in front of me or perch somewhere. Well, the thing flies up and lands on my hand, the one holding the camera. So there it is, right there. So luckily my phone was in my left-hand pocket, so I'm like, so anyway, but this is one that, yeah, nine park parks are protecting them. All right. This one I've been bumping into the past few days or so. The spattered dock darner. Gosh, you can't mistake this one. It's got sky blue eyes when it's flying around a wetland. I mean, that's the thing that you notice first about it. It's big, about 3-4 inches, big darner. But it likes areas that are associated with spatter dock, the plant. And so any wetland, boggy, or just marsh, whatever, that has spatter dock, good chance of bumping into that one. And so I had it at the Westwoods just this past week. We had one in Pine Brook just last week. And I saw one flying around the beaver pond on Pond Road at Burton Wetlands yesterday. So, but this is rare. You just don't see this all the time. So I'm always thrilled when I do. It's a beautiful dragonfly. And there's the range map. Again, the darkest colors are the current records. So that's like only maybe 12 counties out of the 88 that we have in Ohio that have reports of this one. So insects in general are not doing so well, and so that's why it's important to protect our wetland habitats. So this one is the lily pad forktail. It's about an inch long. And I discovered it at Burton Wetlands in 2015. It was a county record, and it was endangered at that time. But since then, it's been popping up at different locations around the state. And so folks have thought that maybe it's doing well enough now where we can downlist it. So now it's a species of concern. It's still listed, but it's not at that critical endangered level like it was. But it's a pretty little dragonfly, or damselfly. I saw females yesterday, the orange form. So with dragonflies, the coloration, they can be males and females, different colors, just like birds. So this is the male, and they have this little posture where they rest the tip of their abdomen on the lily pad leaf, and then they've got their little front legs up in the air. They look like little tripods. But the females have two color forms. They have the orange form, and then they have this mature form where over time they sort of develop this whitish coloration. So if you go to Burton Wetlands and stand on the dock and stare at the lily leaves, somebody will think you're crazy, probably. But anyway, but that's, you just need to stare, and then you can find these, and they're just darting around the lily pads. They seem to be particularly associated with lily pads that are in bog areas, but gosh, if you have got lily pads somewhere, I'd look for this species, because they could be anywhere. The southern pygmy clubtail. Unfortunately, this one was uplisted to threatened this past year, 2022. This is a teneral female. A teneral dragonfly is the what we call them when they first emerge from the aquatic submarine form, and they're still a little bit soft, and their wings haven't hardened yet. They're real shiny. They don't fly well. And then on the other picture, there is a picture of a mature male. I just found a new location for this species. We had them at the Westwoods. I just found them at Headwaters Park. Couldn't believe it. I was like, what's that? Got the binoculars. So again, a habitat specialist. Where does this species specialize? You'll see it in a minute. There's again the range map of again Northeast Ohio. But the habitat here is seeps. They like these seeps in wooded areas, usually near a stream, but never numerous, at least not in Geauga County. You know, I see one, I see three, it's just, they're just not easy to find. We have 3 parks now that protect this. They were found at the Rookery. I found it at Headwaters just a couple weeks ago, and we have them at the Westwoods. The spiked tails. I love these dragons. There's 4 species that occur in Ohio. Geauga County does have all 4 of them. I do not have a picture of the 4th one. I was still waiting to find one in our parks somewhere. The 4th one that's actually a species of concern flies in the Stebbins Gulch area, which actually is Geauga County, but it's part of Holden Arboretum, not our property. And here's again an example of things that are named for how they look. The Delta spotted spiketail with the triangular yellow spots. The arrowhead spiketails with little arrowheads on the abdomen, and then the twin spotted over there with the sets of twin spots down the abdomen. We had people from southern Ohio come to the Westwoods because somebody found one there. So they were all there a few weeks ago looking for that. They got to see it. So our parks are protecting these 3 species, and what is their habitat? They need cold headwater tributary stream habitat. A couple minutes before I took that picture, a twin-spotted spiketail came cruising that stream about a foot above the water. Just didn't get a picture of it though. But anyway, these are critical habitat for these creatures. Now, the nymph of this species might be one of those that lives up to 6 years. So if you're going to be a nymph in the water, living in a stream for 6 years, it better be good water quality. I think it should be a factor in the grading of our stream assessment when we do stream assessments to gauge the health of the stream. I think finding a spiketail nymph in a stream should be a factor in saying, hey, this is pretty good water quality. The rainbow bluet is a very small dragonfly, a damselfly that likes the edges of ponds and streams. The most reliable place to see this one is in Ashtabula County, a little, I think it's Rock Creek or something. There's a little public park there. But Geauga County also has a probable reliable location, which is near Bass Lake, the restoration area at Beaver Creek. I found them in there. And I just found one the other day, so several years ago after I discovered them there, they're still hanging on, even though we've did a nice stream restoration on that section of Beaver Creek Reserve. It's amazing. And so they're thriving there. Here's the range map. Again, the dark colors are the current, but there's not too many of them, so we don't know if this is doing well. Maybe it's holding its own, maybe it's not. But at least our park is providing a place for them, so that's awesome. Now this is almost the end. But there was something that happened on Sunday, and I was on my property in my kayak, and I saw a dragonfly I did not recognize. I got the binoculars on it, I was able to take a few pictures, and I'm like, 4-spotted skimmer, what? And so I put it in iNaturalist, and they confirmed that, yeah, that's what it was. So then the same day, I see multiple reports of this species from different places in Ohio. And I'm thinking, what is going on? So yesterday, I thought I'm going to look for them somewhere else. So at the Westwoods, I went to the Turkey Ridge Pool. Bingo, there they are. I went to Burton Wetlands in the afternoon. They're not flying around Lake Kelso, but around Callabog in the back part of the property there. There's a little water-filled pocket in Callabog. Boom, they're there. So we are currently being invaded by an endangered species. And so I contacted my colleague who's part of the Ohio Odonata Society, and he had a little report on what's happening with this species. So he said that in Ohio there were 33 historical records from 14 counties, and I think Geauga County was one of those. Then, since 1996, there have only been 13 records from 7 counties. And then we had a couple years, the peak years had a whopping 4 sightings each from 1979 and then again from 2009. And so then, starting on June 17th of this year, in order, he has reports from Crawford County, Montgomery County, Lorain County, Hancock County, Ottawa County, and then Geauga County, Medina County, Stark, Warren, Greene, Franklin, Morrow,